One of the most popular sports to bet on in the entire world might surprise you. We're talking DFS tennis on DraftKings and FanDuel. It's part one, starting right now. What's up, guys? Joe Holka here. Welcome to another daily fantasy sports and betting video. If this is your first time here and you want to become a profitable DraftKings player and get better at betting, start now by subscribing to the channel and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss anything along the way. If you're already a Holkamaniac, you know what to do. Smash that like button and we'll get started. All right, guys, we're going to start with the scoring over on DraftKings and a little bit of the pricing as well. But one of the things that I really want to highlight in this first section is that in DFS tennis, we really want to target guys that can give us winners.
Thing that matters most in DraftKings tennis by far is picking winners.
Okay.
Because when you dig deeper and actually look at what the stats are, 90% of them are directly correlated with winning the match. They basically describe the result of the match. So
Gotcha.
If you're going through it, like games won, sets won, really it comes down to game differential too, because you get knocked if for the number of games you lose and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's definitely the biggest thing to note for people that are new to the game. The main point of it is picking people who are going to win their match compared to their salary. And there are other things that go into it, but 80 to 90% of scoring is associated with picking winners.
So basically, is that kind of how they're doing the pricing based on kind of the Vegas odds, or is it more skewed towards a couple other things that I'm not thinking of?
Yeah, so pricing is generally follows opening Vegas odd lines. And the thing to know about tennis is that tennis is one of the most bet on sports in the entire world. I think it's second only to soccer, according to my sources. But and that's something that American people might not know either, because it's a little less popular.
I never would have known that, but honestly, that makes me trust the Vegas odds even a little bit more. If they're getting a ton of action, there's obviously a ton of incentive to make those lines pretty strong. By the way, guys, if you've ever found value in any of my videos or live streams, one of the best ways to support what I'm doing here for free is to throw me the follow over on Twitter. And if you're new to the community, I also do a ton of content exclusive to Instagram. So make sure you take a few seconds and make sure you're following me over there. I really appreciate it.
Basically, with what the pricing is the pricing is usually very good. On occasion, I'd say once or twice a month, they terribly botch a slate where they misprice one or two people. And when that happens, there is so much overlap on that day. However, that day becomes a fantastic GPP day. There was one day where a person was minus 300 favored and they were priced like a massive dog. And that person ends up being 85, 90% owned in GPP. And not even just that, if you have a person that's minus 150 and they're priced like a minus or a plus 120 dog, that person's going to be drastically owned. So if you just don't really like that person on the day and you've looked into it, that can be a great GPP day because that person's ownership is going to be very high due to what the Vegas price lines are.
Aces plus double faults, the kind of random bonuses. So talk a little bit about some of these other stats past just the winners.
Yeah, for sure. So two of the counting stats that are recorded are aces and double faults. Those are relatively independent of the outcome of the match, and they're more specific to a player's general profile and background. And the one thing when DraftKings tennis started, people were saw that you get a bonus for aces and were I'm gonna hammer ace guys, that must be the answer. Pick the guys that get the most aces and that'll help me win. But the important thing to note is that so you get minus points for a double fault. For people that don't know in tennis, the double fault is when you miss both your serves, you lose the point. It's a bad thing.
Okay.
Ace is when you hit a serve and they don't touch it, a good thing. So you get I'm not sure if you have the scoring up on the screen, but yeah, you get a little bonus for aces. And
yep, I got the scoring right up so everyone can see it.
Cool.
I forgot you're on a phone. You're not following along with us.
Sorry.
No, that's still cool. So people back at home can see the DraftKings scoring right now. So it looks like there's a plus 10 ace bonus. And then there's I guess there's some other bonuses here too. So you're saying chasing these isn't necessarily the way to go.
No. So the other important part is that they go up incrementally too. It's 0.4 points for an ace or that type of thing also.
Yep.
But so I've dug into the data pretty heavily on this, and on average, the difference that incorporating aces and double faults makes into somebody's scoring profile is approximately 3 points.
Okay.
Which
so
is nothing. So
nothing
scores,
yeah.
Yeah. So general scores for DraftKings Tennis, losers will score between 10 to 40 points in general, and winners will score between like 60 and 80 points. All those depend on margin of victory and margin of loss. And
Sure.
like I just said, ace and double faults on average account for 3 points.
So not a lot. Before we get back at it, if you like my work and you want to support my work, the number one way you can do so for free is by bookmarking one of the Amazon links in the description below and using it for your day-to-day shopping. What you buy once you use that link literally doesn't matter. As long as you use that link to get to Amazon, you're doing your part to support the channel. So definitely appreciate everyone on my Amazon crew. If you're new, definitely let me know in the comments below and I'll give you a shout out on the next video. So we talked a little bit about winners in the beginning of this video, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into why aces are so important and why we want to take full advantage of the double fault situation when it comes to bonuses.
The important thing is extremes always matter. Like there are players that legitimately stream out enough aces, or you can predict that they like double fault a ton, that it either limits your upside related to that player or increases your upside related to that player. So like if you feel that that player's like on par in terms of win percentage with a similar person, then yeah, like taking somebody that has the chance to have that huge ace upside does help, but it's definitely an ancillary piece of the process of picking players.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pick 6 winners, you're going to do well most days. You're going to cash everything. So picking winners is the most important thing. The 2 other things that are most important are serve guys and serve bots, people that get 10, 15, 20, 30 aces. They get a lot because that's where you get a lot of your pluses from. So if you are a heavy serve guy or girl, that is a benefit. And also double fault boxes, they're very difficult. So the way that I look at it, and I've had some talks about this, is if you are a high ace guy, let's say you're John Isner, you are going to outscore any loser. If you go 3 sets, you're going to outscore any other loser that went 3 sets. If you lose in 2 sets, you're going to outscore every other loser that lost in 2 sets because of your ace numbers. If you win in 3 sets, you're going to beat every winner in 3 sets. If you win in 2 sets, you're going to be a good scorer regardless. Like you might not be the top because sometimes there's just a massive massacre at some point during the day and that person's the top. But if you are John Isner and you win in 2 sets, you're probably going to score 75 plus points, which is going to be one of the better scores on the day. So serve bots are very good. On the flip side, people that double fault a lot, they are massively, drastically worse in terms of scoring. If they lose in 3 sets, they're going to be worse than anyone else that loses in 3 sets. If they lose in 2 sets, they're going to be the worst play on the slate. So it's a situation where if you have a coin flip between someone that gets a lot of double faults and someone that doesn't get a lot of double faults, you take the one that doesn't get a lot of double faults. On the flip side, if someone has a lot of aces versus someone that doesn't, you want the guy that has a lot of aces.
Just a reminder, if you're looking to take your game to that next level, I do offer one-on-one coaching. So check out joeholka.com/coaching if you want a little bit more information on that. Actually going to be rolling out some group coaching sessions during NFL this year that I'm super excited about. So keep an eye on that page, or you can always ask me any questions you have in the comments below this video. If you prefer just to continue learning in this group setting, that's totally fine. I always like to remind people, though, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you automatically have access to a free Twitch Prime subscription. So with that, you get access to my premium Discord chat. And honestly, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not taking advantage of those live streams. There's a bunch of subscriber-only perks that you'll get access to as well. So give me a follow over at twitch.tv/joeholka so you make sure you don't miss anything over there. Probably the biggest difference in DFS tennis than other sports is we actually have men and women. So there's different strategies when it comes to both of these. I know one carries quite a bit more variance than the other, so I thought we'd spend some time to talk about that now.
Men are better at serving. So serve can act kind of as like a neutralizer or a normalizer in terms of like worse players being able to keep up with better players because they might be worse overall, but like their serves can still keep them in the game. Whereas in women's, their serves are less impactful, still very impactful, but less impactful in terms of the outcomes of matches. So what that leads into is that men have lower spreads than women because guys who are still highly likely to lose, like can keep up and hold serve enough. That's the big term in tennis. I don't know how tennis savvy the audience is, but
Yeah.
Holding serve means you win the game when you're serving, and breaking serve means you're able to win the game while your opponent's serving. And that's kind of like the big delineator in the match. But yeah, so let me go back to men's versus women.
Yeah.
So yes, women have larger spreads because of what I just talked about, and that can give them slightly higher range of outcomes naturally.
That's got to be good for GPPs though, like trying to kind of embrace that variance a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing that's really important to look at, like women's underdogs, like they have a much higher straight set percentage than men's underdogs. So you also get a bonus for winning in straight sets. Like that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for people who will win the match and not lose a set. Like that's the straight set bonus is the only bonus that like you want to.
Okay, so as far as the bonuses on the screen right now, straight sets bonus +6 is awarded for winning a match without losing a set. This is probably a big one then.
Yeah, so that happens in about like what's the number? I believe it's 64% of matches
so
overall,
that's massive,
and in straight sets. Yeah, so like getting that is really important in the process. And so like women's underdogs, they do have a higher straight set percentage. Like women's winners just tend to win or lose by more. And yeah, that definitely plays into the GPP versus cash and like risk tolerance aspect of it. But like one of the most important things about tennis is like you can't just like play all the women in like a GPP. Like you have to be really sensitive to like other factors in terms of predicting the actual outcomes too. So like that's why I enjoy it so much, because like you're balancing all the game theory and the DraftKings side of it versus also evaluating on the tennis side, like who are good plays.
The women can get massacred out of nowhere, it seems like, more frequently. Like Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, those guys generally aren't going to lose badly or lose a match that they shouldn't lose. The women could. That's another thing, though, is like top price players generally really struggle to pay off their value because people below them are almost all, you're never going to have a gap. So, for example, a 10.4K person is going to score similarly to the 16 other people that win on a day. So it's a situation where if you're paying up, that person's generally not going to pay off his salary almost ever. You're just basically praying that person if that person wins in straight sets, then you get a mad result. So it's a situation like that. But yeah, like the men serve better. So women, you see more breaks and you see sometimes more lopsided matches where someone just can't really serve and you see like a 6-1, 6-1 type match. A lot of the men usually are a lot more closer than that because they usually hold their serve. So their matches go later in sets. So you might see like a 6-4, 6-3 type of win compared to a women's match that's 6-1, 6-1. But they might have more aces than that, and the women's match might have more double faults. So the men and women are very difficult.
If you want to learn more about how to become a profitable daily fantasy sports player and how to get better at betting, start now by hitting that subscribe icon in the bottom right-hand corner so you don't miss anything. Have a ton of DFS courses on demand for other sports as well, so definitely check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.